Now sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Much love to all.
Underground dwellings. Traditionally, ghouls were said to live underground, emerging out of deep pits or holes in the earth, although they could sometimes simply materialize out of thin air in front of an astonished traveler. Consequently, deep gullies and cracks in the earth were to be strenuously avoided. The idea that the ghouls were almost a form of troglodyte may well have come from old travelers' tales, possibly exaggerated, of cannibalistic hermits and solitaries, dwelling in the rocks and caves deep in the desert wastes. Some of these anchorites were undoubtedly mad and either shied away from or else attacked those who passed by their abodes, giving rise to stories of ferocious ghouls, lurking in such remote places. Ghouls, it was believed, also dwelt in the shadows of large rocks and stones, well away from the sun. They would change their shape. It was believed that some ghouls, such as jinn, were shapeshifters, into the form of beautiful women in order to lure passers-by into the shade where the creature would revert to its true form before feeding. They also dwelt in deep caves and in crevices in the rocks, the only indication of their presence being their eyes, which glowed and flashed red like coals in the darkness. Indeed, anywhere there was dark or shadow might be a habitation for ghouls in the Arab mind. Their main haunts, however, were graveyards and abandoned cemeteries where there was a ready supply of corpses upon which they were said to subsist. Crossing such place, particularly after nightfall, was therefore adjudged to be a particularly hazardous occupation. As the ghouls dwelt underground and were closely associated with dead bodies, anyone walking across a grave might suddenly find a seemingly withered hand grabbing and clutching at their ankles as the creature attempted to drag them down. Ghouls and disease. The connection between ghouls and the spread of disease was also extremely strong. Ghouls were said to be unclean and pestilence followed them as a matter of course. Because they were of the jinn kind, and jinn were creatures of wind and storm, they were said to use such elements in order to spread plague throughout a community. Mixed with the storm and wind were fragments of organic materials that in some instances, may indeed have spread disease, and this was directly attributed to the work of the supernatural. Even the very touch of a ghoul was said, in some instances, to be deadly and could carry pestilence amongst humans. In other cases, the very passing of the creature, with disease clinging to its robes, was enough to bring plague into a community. It was also argued that the spittle or saliva of the ghoul held poisonous properties, poisons that could be absorbed through the skin, or if something that the creature had spat upon or had left a trace of saliva were to be touched or stepped upon, remembering that many travelers often went barefoot. This was sometimes offered as the reason for the spread of epidemics between communities and for the transmission of certain diseases. Ghouls also commanded great power. They had unquestionably supernatural strength, but they had other powers, too. They could materialize and dematerialize, such as turning to smoke, similar to a jinn, if threatened. They also had command of the mind, luring individuals with false visions or else confusing them so that they wandered into dangerous places. Moreover, they had the power to take on the shapes of birds and animals, particularly carrion creatures, those who ate dead meat, and sometimes had power over them, turning them against men.
Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Till the next time, much love.